So I've been trying for several years now to attempt to get through to particularly guys and get them to tread with a little bit of caution in the world of cryptocurrency and NFTs. And along the way, I've never seen any evidence that I've gotten through to literally anyone. So obviously a different tactic is needed. And I think the guest who's gonna be joining me right now on the show has that. So very lucky to be joined by journalist and adult activist whose writing can be seen on the Daily Beast, Cherie DeVille. Welcome to the Damage Report.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because we gotta get through to these people, predominantly men, predominantly young men in some way. And you did a write-up on the Daily Beast about a new tactic that you were taking. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I've been hearing, especially since the pandemic in my world, a lot of my particularly male friends have been doing something that I consider gambling with their finances. They have been, and I am putting this in huge air quotes, investing in NFTs, in random cryptocurrencies that are, announced by Twitter celebrities, porn stars, basically what I consider to be at best pump and dump schemes. And they're putting absurd amounts of money into this, thinking that this is something legitimate, that they're going to have actual returns on these investments. But in my mind, it's somewhere between a scam and gambling. So I became frustrated. And I didn't feel like verbally educating my friends was working. I didn't feel like sending them, articles of people that actually have knowledge seemed to be working, because they would come back and say, well, watch this YouTube video, or this celebrity is doing it, or my cousin's third wife's whatever made this amount of money, these ridiculous things. So I said, well, what is going to work, and what in my corner of the world, which is adult film, can perhaps get through to these young men? So I decided to do a parody film in which I am educating a young heterosexual couple who's having difficulty. The woman in the couple has become frustrated with her partner because he's investing in ridiculous things and spending all their money. So she incorrectly Googles Suze Orman and finds me, Susie Hormand, and comes to my office, where I use a very effective positive reinforcement to get through to her husband until he agrees that, perhaps an IRA or a more appropriate sound investment strategy is the way to go. I consider it almost Pavlovian. In my world, people are watching my content for enjoyment, for sexual pleasure. And as we all know, a lot of hormones and good feelings come along with those moments. So I'm hoping that, like, some subliminal advertisement that you see if someone is having all these positive feelings and are hearing about good investments, perhaps, they will change their mind about some of the risky behaviors that they're participating in.
I love that as a tactic, without thinking about it. So I cover the news and politics, and I try to lighten things up. I make jokes and everything. I might, on some level, be trying to do something similar to that. But
yeah.
Look, this is obviously a really consequential issue. I mean, you're trying to help people not lose their life savings. And by the way, can I remind people? I don't know when people are watching this. We're in the middle of a crash right now in cryptocurrency.
A huge crash. Yes. Yeah. A huge crash in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and I don't know.
But
it depends on which.
Even without this crash, it's gambling. If you want to gamble, if you want to go to Vegas, if you want to enjoy, spending your money on a behavior that is likely or statistically not going to have good investment or good returns, that's up to you. But where I see the problem is that these are being touted as investments and not gambling. No one thinks they're going to go play roulette as an investment. Well, I hope as an investment strategy. Well, that's terrible behavior. But I think a lot of young people actually do believe that some of these cryptocurrencies, that some of these NFTs, that doing uneducated day trading on apps like Robinhood are the way to their financial future. And I have a lot of theories on why the young people right now might be more susceptible to that. I think our culture is a big problem. I think my generation, and especially their generation, are some of the first without the hope of pension plans. We might not get Social Security. There's a lot of feelings of financial, a lack of financial safety, I think, in young people. So I understand why some of these kind of like almost get rich quick schemes might be appealing. But especially for these people who are young, especially if you're in your 20s, if you make these boring, slow investments, even if it's just an IRA, you are so young. If you put that money in there now, by the time you're in your 40s like me, or in your 60s or 70s waiting to retire, it is going to be a huge amount of money. And we've seen that not over however many years crypto has been around, but over decades and decades and decades of history. These are historically safe investments. They are boring. They don't have pretty art that goes with them. They don't have your favorite celebrity telling you to buy them, but they actually work. And so I am just pleading to these people, and I do say men, because it does seem to be, in my small experience, that men are doing this more. And you will see in a lot of different, hundreds and hundreds of studies, that men are more prone to risky behavior. They are more prone to gambling behavior. And especially in a younger man with different hormones and less life experience, I think a lot of these things can be extremely tempting. So I'm trying to bring, sex into the equation, because they are watching that. They are watching me. I have a lot as a MILF, as a cougar, as a stepmom. I have a lot of younger viewers. So I just feel like even if I can save a few people's retirement plans, get a few people, even if they just say, hey, I'm still gonna do this risky stuff, it's really fun for me, but I hear you, I'm also going to put my money in some safer, long-term, boring investments, that is a win for me. That is a huge win.
That'd be great.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.